So welcome to another Exploring Consciousness with the Earth Nouveau Hub. And today we have SOS week. So the first week of the month, we're going to do an SOS week. And what that actually means is very much free flow. And we are inviting anyone and everyone who wants to come onto our Zoom, including everyone, of course, that usually comes onto the Zoom to ask questions or ask for a facilitation. And as I said in my announcement, we have always a bunch of healers on the on the Zoom with all kinds of different modalities under their hands and belts, and we can always help out a little bit if that is something you would like to do in a public forum, that kind of thing. But also subject matters you'd like to bring up, or anything really that comes up, should just free flow sharing, specifically in the first week of the month. So we're just going to keep it open. It's a bit of a fact finding here, cleaning, clearing and everything. And SOS is obviously the call for help, right? So anyone who needs some help or wants to offer their help, their services, this was the motivation of using the SOS. But also I looked it up, and actually SOS is Save Our Ship. It literally, the abbreviation is for Save Our Ship. I didn't know that. And then I was thinking, well, that's interesting, because Save Our Earth Ship, right? And not so much that the Earth itself needs saving, but, all the people living on it, and, and save ourselves. We can look at it from that perspective. And how can we be of service to others whilst we're doing that?
I always thought it was save our souls.
Well, that's what we can add to it. Absolutely. What I saw when I Googled it, it said Save Our Ship, basically from the old Morse codes, from the days of the navigation in the waters and everything. But save our souls, yes. Save our bodies, save our minds, save everything, right? Everything that wants to be saved. Who and whoever wants to be saved, what wants to be saved. So we'll see if anyone else that has never been on our Zooms will have the inclination to come on. And if not, then we're just going to play in the meantime amongst ourselves. And we're just saying, Carolina, you have been away for some time. Would you like to share a little bit what you've been up to?
Yeah, so I spent 5 weeks north of Bogota, in the countryside, working with the angel of fire, with the fire element, with my spiritual family and my friends. And a large group of us came to really engage spirit to spirit with the angel of fire. And it was very powerful. And what I received from the fire was that it was a sacred emanation from the sun. It was an extension of the sun consciousness, and it was here to assist me in my clearings. And it was a beautiful dance of me delivering the clearing, delivering my intention to cut away from tendencies, from inclinations, from all kinds of affiliations, as an act of reciprocity to the Divine Mother. So the angel of fire was willing. I mean, it will read me instantly. And as I exhaled my breath, my life force into the fire, it will take that energy that no longer serves me, that I am detaching myself from. And it will give me insights and clarity and discernment. I could only stand in front of the fire for less than a minute. It was that powerful, less than a minute. And then I will sit back and then integrate what I had received. I had my notebook and I will take notes. And then when I will feel complete, then I will come back and engage again in this conversation, in this dance with the angel of fire. It was incredibly powerful. So now I am back at my birthplace, which is Cali, which I felt was the best place to integrate the experience, and reading my notes, and so happy to be back here to share this with you.
That's super exciting. So it sounds very much like a ceremonial, ritualistic sort of gathering, right?
Yes, yes, it's a shamanic gathering, yeah. Indigenous gathering from Colombia. Mhm.
Uh-huh. And how long did it go on? How many days were you there?
It was a total of 5 weeks, and we met daily
Wow, 5
for
weeks.
about 6-7 hours per day.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So
That
there's
sounds
was-
intense.
Very,
Wow.
very intense, very intense.
How was that
I-
on the body? How was it on the body?
On the body, well, I felt incredibly grounded and rooted to Gaia, incredibly connected to her. And then with all the discomforts of like dry skin, my eyelashes were falling, constipated, but that was secondary income to the, you know, as I will connect my spirit to my connection with Gaia, and how happy I felt she was that her child was coming back to her in such a way. So yeah.
how many people were you?
Well, we were about 50 people, but not everyone was there for the entire time. So people will come for 9 days, 12 days. But it was a total of 50 people, and I have worked with them before. I have known them for many years now. And then the Angel of Fire was assisting me, but at the same time, the group was a container. So at times when I felt very weak in the recognition of my affiliations, other people will come in and assist me as a spirit. So all of us were there really together, in encouraging and supporting one another to really like clear the shit.
Well,
I just
five,
stuff came out that I had no idea.
right. Well, 5 weeks of only fire is that's commitment. That's a different level of free will commitment. Yes, I have to say. Did
So-
you? Sorry, go.
So Caro, did you were saying, so you guys had like a fire lit constantly all the time for that 5 weeks?
Yes, it's a structure made
Uh-huh.
it's a structure made by the mamas and the sacas. So the mamos in Colombia are the elders, the wise men. Ancestrally, we were organized in that way. They were the leaders, that kept the alignment in spirit with all the spiritual alliance in the community. So they built a fire that is the symbol of infinity. And then
Yeah.
on one side of the fire is the feminine energy, and on the other side is the masculine energy. And this infinity symbol is made of brick, so it's very tall. So the
Mhm.
fire is as tall as I was at its peak. It was an immense fire. So that way around 30-40 people could stand around this infinity circle, and deliver the reciprocity.
That sounds intense and beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, very, very just beautiful, powerful. I feel I feel more myself.
So
really,
are you able to share some of the downloads you got with us, or you're not able to do that?
yes. Yes. Well, many. Is there anything in particular that you would like to, in anything around, in anything in particular, in regards to the fire, in regards to my own clearings, in regards to the community? I can say so much.
Well, let's start with how did Art Mother felt about where is she now in her own reality, in all the clearings that so many people have done around the world? What message did she bring to you guys at the moment?
Me, yeah, to me,
Where is she at?
Well, in that moment, as I integrate, she was cocooning us. She was like creating us. Is that a word?
Cradling
Us?
cradling
Creating us in our commitment to clear in that moment, in that instant, with the Angel of Fire. It was so beautiful to feel her support, her strength, her wisdom and her knowingness. Like I felt very known by her, very, very known by her. So that was one thing. And then at the same time, as I detached myself from the fire, sat down, then she was very firm in what needed to be done in order to really be of service to her in this fifth dimension. Very firm.
So
No,
what are some
no
of,
BS.
yeah, what are some of the things that she stand firm in that we, as her children, should have an idea of what we should follow through with?
So when she spoke to the group as a whole, and people will share what they were gathering from Gaia, what I connected with was that she has chosen herself. She really chose herself, and she is ready for this. I mean, it has already started, and she's going with it, you know, whether you're joining or not, but you're very welcome to come. And it's out of love for her that we aligned in this fifth dimension. That's what I was receiving around the fire. She chose herself. It was very powerful for me because I am choosing me. And then to hear Gallita say that she chose herself, I was like, oh, Mama Gaia. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing
Wow.
that with us. I'll let you guys ask her the rest of the questions, unless something else comes up.
Yeah, I have a question about the land in Bogota and why it was there that it was chosen to be there. Do you know? If you
Yes, so we were not exactly in the city. We were 2 hours north, and because of the Sacred Alliance there, and there's a very powerful place called Siomi, which is the indigenous word for 2 sacred mountains, and other very, very powerful places that ancestors and family members have been working with for millennia. So this specific lineage is in equal co-creation with that alliance. So they're very much supporting those who come with sincerity and purity of heart to clear. The alliance is there. It has been built by humans.
Can I add to what you're saying, Caro? What the message I got as soon as Amy asked the question? The spine of the Earth Mother runs through right there in the mountain. You guys were north. The Andes Mountain ran through right there, right? Your corner of the Andes Mountain, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And so below the Andes Mountain there is fresh water, like pure water. So that's kind of the message I just got when you asked the question, Amy. And that's why that spot was chosen, because that's kind of like the center of the spine of the earth. And so it's the backbone, the cradle of flexibility. Like if a person would bend down or something like that, that spot would be where the center would stand up, projecting upwards. Like if you bend over, right? Think of your own spine. The highest point would be that spot for the Earth Mother.
I see. Beautiful.
That's kind of what I got when you were asking the question there.
Yes, and it makes complete sense because those who grow food there speak about the abundance of water that there is down underneath. And how the vegetables and the fruit, it all grows so luscious because of the waters.
Yeah, it's unfeathered. It stays pure down there.
Yeah. Well, there's also a solar disk underneath called Shemanco that it connects to the sierras, to the Sierra Madre of Santa Marta, and it also connects to 2 points in Mexico, and it stretches all the way down to Patagonia.
You can think of that spot as being the Aurora Borealis in a sense, where it's the North Pole the spine of the Earth Mother, and then the flow of the energy comes up and cascades back downwards to the rest of the planet. Right? That's the way you can see that spot as well. Yeah. Sorry, Amy. Go ahead. You're muted.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
So when you say the Earth has chosen to ascend, what have you received more details of what that actually means for her?
Well, what I received in that second was novelty, newness, a new experience. That's what I received in that moment at the fire. Yeah, she wants to experience this. She's ready for it. She's been preparing herself for a long time. And then also we agreed to this on an astral plane prior to coming here. We were like, yes, we're gonna do this. Yes. Let's go, gallita.
Ooh, I love it.
So that's just in time for the Aquarian age, right? Renewal, novelty. And of course, the invitation then, I suppose, goes out to us as well, right? To renew everything, come in with new stuff.
Yes.
Out create.
Yes. Yeah, truly. Well, I am curious to know if any of you have had experiences with the fire, working with fire, to inner fire, outer fire, the fire element.
I know everybody else got more than I do. Like Jen, yeah.
I work with fire a lot, but not necessarily. Like I get communication with Earth Mother in different ways, usually more in meditation, but I use fire a lot just for resetting the energy and clearing the energy. It's just the best purifier for me. So I do work with fire quite a bit. I do fire ceremony a couple times a month, if not more, and sometimes just to enjoy a fire instead of making it spiritual. But I do work with the fire energy, just not maybe the same way that you were in that event. But it sounds like a beautiful ceremony. I joined a little bit late. I got a 16-week-old puppy, so I'm on 2 nights of no sleep. So yeah, I'm late to everything. But it sounded beautiful.
Is that a new dog in addition to Bango?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap. I thought that was Bango.
Nope.
Oh, my
Nope.
goodness. Sheesh. Right on.
I get Bango half the time right now, and then new Boris is 16 weeks and an absolute mess. And then I've got a cat that I got last month too. So if I start talking about one more, it's time to stage an intervention.
Taro, I have another question for you.
Okay, let me just say, do we have any more with fire experiences? Before, hold your question, Lana. Any more? Because I'm sure we have more fire experiences, no?
I don't work with fire, but I would say the fire inside, like the gut, you know, that fiery that I can get when it's like, let's go, like, yeah, come on, do it. I can work with that type of fire, but I don't work with it outside as much as I'd like to, because I do love it. I do love sitting by a fire, but but it's more of inside the fire, inside my fire. Yeah.
Well, I look at my fire pit every day. It's presently covered with like a foot of snow, that high, including all the wood.
No, I also work with fire from a Kundalini perspective, working with the Dantian and working with all the elements. But I've never, to be honest, I always do like a mix of all the different ones for balance. So I think, you know, going in with 5 weeks only fire is probably the closest I would have done is if when I did a 40-day challenge, a Kundalini challenge of 40 minutes, 50 minutes breathing on a daily basis. That would be my closest to fire, other than, you know, working with little ceremonial fires and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that sounds like an interesting experience that
Yeah.
really advances your level of commitment. That's for sure.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Well, I asked because you're very welcome to come. We do this twice a year in Colombia, and I've been doing it for 4 years now. And I also wanted to add that when we meet in a house called a Nujue, which is a house that is specialized for that purpose. And it has been consecrated by the wise sakas, which are the wise women, and the wise men who are the mamos. And they themselves, when they're present, they're not clearing per se, but they're supporting others in the clearings. So you're fully supported.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
By
there
your
are healing crisis and things like that, I would assume, big time, right? That you have.
Yes, because those that have been, benefiting from our energy don't want to let go. So they come in and they do, everything possible to stop you from cutting, everything possible. And so the community is there as support. Your own spirit is there in full integrity and dignity, because that's what the angel of fire reflects to you. And then the mamas and the sakas there are also supporting. And we don't do this with anything but drinking water. There's no plant medicines. It's just your consciousness and the fire.
I was just going to ask that question if there's plant medicine involved, but I love that. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, in my experience, it's not needed. The fire on it by its own, it's already, wow, just so powerful. And I prefer it myself too. I prefer to just be pure consciousness.
And does everybody get involved with the whole ceremony every day? Like involved meaning gathering the wood and cooking and all of that.
Yes.
So everybody has
All
a
of it.
place. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
lots of wood, because we burn, so much wood. And then also giving reciprocity to the where the wood came from, giving reciprocity for the vegetables that are collected, for the putting energy into the food that we eat, connecting with the sun every morning, connecting with the sun every evening. It's a whole, really, it is. How do you want to live the fifth world of peace? Like we go for 5 weeks and we go like, let's do it. Let's recreate what we want to see. It's really beautiful. Of course, a lot of challenges come up. Imagine the resistance that comes up from people and that I saw in myself. Wow, because you're really pushed to the edge. So there's no hiding. Everyone's there on the same boat. So it really pushes you to the edge.
Hence
Last-
SOS.
Hence
Yeah.
SOS.
Hence SOS.
Lana,
Yes.
you still remember your question?
Oh, yeah. So now I have 2 questions instead of 1. So, Caro, you mentioned that you don't take anything but water. My interpretation was that you guys didn't eat any food but drank water. Is that right? But then you were talking about having, food there as well.
Well, no food within the building, the Nujue building that was built for that purpose during the duration of working with the connecting spirit to spirit with the angel of fire. And then we break, and then you can eat. But to tell you the truth, my appetite was really not. I wasn't really like so hungry. I wanted like nourishing good food, but I wasn't really there to eat, because after 1 week, 2 weeks, you really disconnect so much from the day to day. Time when the 5 weeks ended, when I came back to my computer, I could not figure it out how to start it. It was incredible. Like I could not understand the computer.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
She's
I
beyond
couldn't understand
technology.
my phone.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes, and also, and then this connection so alive with your guides, you know, with all the alliance supporting you. I didn't want to let go, you know, I wanted to preserve it as much as possible. As the days go by, you know, it just melts with my day to day. I don't think it decreases, it just changes. But those days right after, oof, where the veil is so thin, it's so beautiful.
So now the question that I wanted to ask, the elders that are there, are they indigenous people from the Colombian culture, like the
Yes.
natives? Okay.
Mhm. Yes. Yes,
So so they're not from other countries. They're just basically Colombian natives, indigenous people
yes,
of Colombia.
yes, yes. And specifically the tribes are the Kogi tribe from the Sierra Madre of Santa Marta, and the Kogi, and then the Chibcha, which are the indigenous from Bogota and the surrounding areas of Bogota.
Cool.
Sí.
So you're now in the integration phase, you said, and the level of connection hasn't decreased. You're just integrating, getting used to, you know, that kind of normal living, right? So have you already sort of an understanding of what else is there for you? Talking about novelty, everything's going to be different. How has your life changed after that connection, after that experience of 5 weeks of fire?
Wow. Well, a deeper understanding, a deeper living of compassion within myself, and recognition of how we are all healing and how similar our wounds are. So similar, just different shades, different shapes, but really so much of connection with what other people are going through. A lot more patience really with people. Because after seeing my records, I go, well, you know, I'm not the little angel I thought.
Little fire angel yourself.
Fire angel myself. Whoa, that's some crap I did. And also paying a lot of attention to the inclinations that want to come back, the pulls. They don't have as much strength as they did before because I am choosing so. But being very aware of the pulls are there daily. It's just like a thing, like to the old, and be like, ya, yo aclaré, I clear that. No.
So Caro, I assume that you were experiencing your Akashic records, is that right?
Sí.
Yeah. So just for fun, if you want to talk about it, tell us something that you were being naughty about in a past life that you said. If you want to, you're not forced to.
Yes, I have been working with this for a long time now. So so first I want to say that that it's like an onion. So say 4 years ago, I knew that I was up to this, but as I continue year by year working with the fire, there's deeper and deeper layers. But it's with the improper, how should I say, what is the misaligned use of my Kundalini energy, of my sexual energy, the misaligned use of the sexual energy, not for creation and expansion, but for destruction. So that's what I have been working for years now. So really asking myself, where is when I want to create something, where am I coming from? Where is that impulse originating from? Is it originating from my agreement that I celebrated with the Divine Mother, or is it coming from something else that wants to, play with me for longer? and also with the fire, seeing more clearly like what things I did, and people that surprisingly are in my life, not surprisingly in my life, and a lot of like my life, it just makes so much more sense, and the challenges and the obstacles and the learning. But yeah, it's working with the working with the divine feminine.
Yeah.
So there's an increased pattern recognition.
Yes.
You become more psychic, more intuitive.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. At this moment, I see it nonstop. It just never ends, and I'm just in this railroad
Mm-hmm.
where it's
Mm-hmm. And reading your own Akashic records, are you now feeling a bit more inclined to be able to read other people's Akashic records?
not at this time. No, I have some work to do in terms of clearing some of affiliations, and so I'm very aware of where I stand, and I'm very committed to clear my own first. In some ways, there's some things here and there that it's not that I even decided, just people come up and they have that thing that I can support with. It just happens. So some things here and there, yes. And I can also share how I connected with my own records, and how the elders too, the wise man and the wise woman there too supported me, because at first I was getting wrong things. And they were like, well, would it be this? Would it be that? And okay, is this? Okay, yeah, it's this.
Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit? Give us like a little, class of how to connect to the Akashic records. Just a few tips.
Well, how I experienced it is that I always knew. See, I always knew. It was that the first thought, the first instant thought that you get, if I can explain it that way, it's almost like if I can zoom in, or if I can slow time or disappear time and connect with that first spark that tells me, that's it. And then what comes in is the big resistance that wants to fight back, that wants to compete, that wants to compare. And then I get involved in all of that and then not read anything. I know that it's not, I mean, I wish I could explain more like the step by step, but if you connect energetically, I think you will understand.
I think you really said something very important. It's always that if you're starting to look into that Akashic record reading or any kind of psychic ability, and you are trying to logify it, make it like, oh, I'm not doing it, then it's already not happening. You are actually literally, as you say, you're already doing it all the time. It's more like an acknowledgement, isn't it? But what you said is really cool, because you said you've got to acknowledge all the resistance that comes up that can lead you in the wrong direction. And I think, Jane, you read Akashic records as well, right?
I do. And exactly what you were saying, when I do hypnosis and I work with people on that, it is always the first thing that comes to you, the first message that you receive, that is your higher self or spirit talking to you. Once you start the chatter and the doubt and the resistance, that we would say the ego in QHHT, which I think calls for maybe a different name, but that it's the body really interfering with receiving that message from spirit once you start to analyze it and pick it apart. So I always tell people, same thing that you are, just let it flow, whatever comes in, just let it, I always just write it down, because sometimes it comes so fast, it's hard to think about it. If I write it down, then I can think about it later. And that takes the body out of it for me too, because I'm not thinking about it as I receive it. I just write it all down. But I would say the same thing that you did. It's always the first thing that comes to you that is spirit talking. Anything that starts to interfere with that really is just a disruption. You just put it aside.
And sometimes it's probably not even a word, right? It's just an energy that you can define. And the faster I with the quantum linguistic work that I used to do a lot, it was like, okay, what's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? Until people get really annoyed. But you got to speed it up, because as soon as you actually allow them to start going, the parasympathetic takes over and says, okay, well, fuck you. Yeah, I'm talking now, you know, and the real thing, the intuitive impulse can't come through. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
Fantastic. So it's all going in this direction. So, oh, that was a question I had. So when you call it the divine feminine, you call it the mother and everything, how does that relate to your perspective of the soul?
Of the soul. Well, I call it spirit. I am a spirit. And Mama Gaia is a spirit, the sun is a spirit, you are a spirit. And it's the first thing for me in my journey was recognizing that I was a spirit. I mean, I did know as a child, and then forgot, and then came back to it. And your question was a soul to
the divine feminine and the mother, because you say the mother, and I was wondering, how does that relate to the perception of the soul? But you seem to say that you don't even worry about any sequential, you know, sort of linearity here. You go straight to the spirit.
I go straight to the spirit, and I go straight to my memory of being born from her in the very beginning.
So you said something interesting, and I'm wondering, you know, for people who have not really asked themselves the question, am I a spirit? How did you know? How do we know? And the question goes to everyone. How do you know that you are a spirit?
How do you know? Well, the verb knowing there is ringing a bell for me, because there is no knowing really. It's like it's not knowing as we think of, as we have thought of it. Other word, the language sometimes is so limiting. In Spanish, there is a word called vivencia, which is close to living. So is living spirit. That's the closest I can think of. Being spirit, maybe. I'll keep trying.
It's interesting you say that, because, you know, I think last week we actually talked about knowledge becoming a limitation. Knowledge becoming a limitation. And if you think of the healing journey, or let's say, you know, the fire burning off, what is the fire burning off? Our conditioning. And that is part of our educational system, right? We are burning off everything that we've learned, so that, like Gaia says, the novelty, we have to relearn, or we have to remember, or we have to, as you say, we have to just connect. So there will have to be, I think we came up with the word emergence instead of anything else, right? That we have to start using new words. Of course, we don't have to do anything, but I think the linguistics are going, there's a subtlety to using certain linguistics now that can really almost damage the energy that you're trying to sort of portray. I've been finding also, you know, lately that I'm looking for words, I'm looking for expressing myself, and it's like the body's like, no, don't get hung up on saying anything, just be, as you say, just be that and breathe, because breath is spirit in Latin.
Yes. So as you're speaking and I'm connecting to you spirit to spirit, I'm noticing the sound of your voice, the way your eyes blink, everything about you, you know, the energy around you. So all of that coming together in an instant, in an instant of light, so quickly. And love, really, just so much love comes from recognizing and having that awareness of spirit, that purity.
Well, it
Okay.
also sounds like that is a present moment situation. You are having to be completely present with that person, right? Or with not just with a person. That's, you have to be that, allowing yourself to be that intimate. A bit like what we also discussed yesterday, last week, that level of intimacy, isn't it?
Yes, yes, the level of intimacy. For me to be able to connect with you at this level, I've had to come to intimacy with myself as well, and with my masculine polarity, my feminine polarity, and that dance together. Otherwise, I couldn't come to you in this moment. And it doesn't matter the level, you know, it doesn't matter the level, but it didn't.
And you know what? I also want to acknowledge with gratitude that you have come on to share that with us, because it helps us to really also acknowledge our journey and the space that we're holding and the intimacy that we are willing to be in order to match that. And I think that's pretty cool too, no?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
How cool. Any more questions? We're gonna milk her now, Caroline. Next
Well,
moment goes
you
off
asked-
to 5-week water, sort of ceremony, and then we don't see you again for so long. Do you actually do anything else other than, does that group specifically work with fire?
We work with fire, but we also connect to the mother, to the Sacred Alliance, and we are big on our birthplaces. So the birthplace is your place of power. It holds your records, and it's the go-to when you start this work. So awakening the consciousness at your birthplace and giving the fresh air and the water and the fire and the earth to the places that need it so much. When I connect here in Colombia, when I go back and with sincerity and connect with the earth, what I get from them is like, you remember us? You remember? You're here? So as more and more people start connecting, because it's readily available, well, what gallita we're gonna have. What a ship we're gonna have.
But Caro, I was thinking, as you said, that you were born from Gaia. The question that came to mind was that, are you a direct child of Earth Mother herself, like how we are child of our parents in that sense? Are you a direct daughter born from her womb? And it brings me back to the ancient history of, they're saying that the Titans are the children of the earth that was born out of her womb, in ancient history. Because the Titans had wars with, gosh, what's the other faction? It will come to me. But that was my question. Are you a direct descendant of her?
From Gallita. Well, she's been a mother to me for so long. She feels like an original mother. But she is not the first spark. So the first spark is a cave called Almeda, and that's as far as I've gotten. And when I connect with the space is from the origin, from Aluna, where we all come from. I mean, this is way back. So that's as far as I've gotten.
So when you say Aluna, is this something, another world you're talking about, or another universe, or what does that mean? Explain that.
So well, the way that makes a lot of sense to me, it's the way that the indigenous elders in Colombia tell the story. So they say in the very beginning it was all darkness, and from that darkness the mother realized her power, her immense power, and from her immense love and consciousness she decided to create another. And then when that other was created, she saw herself and realized that she could be seen and heard. And she decided to mate with the other and create a third one. So the story goes and lots of unfolding. So the mother unfolded herself and unfolded herself and unfolded herself and created more and more. It's a much longer story, but that's the very beginning.
So that's like you're saying in the beginning, the universal source created another of itself, right?
Mhm.
And then from the two came together and created a third.
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
So it's more of a bigger universal source. You're talking about the divine feminine itself created the second, and then the two came together and created the third. Yes?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The way that I experienced my original my origin is very much a female creatrix,
Mm-hmm.
if I can call it that.
Or you
Mhm.
can make up words if it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, a creatrix,
Mm.
Yeah.
a woman.
So
Mhm.
that's like the great spirit coming from the great spirit itself, isn't it? The great spirit would be that divine creator, creatrix, as you're saying. Yeah?
Yes, the great spirit will be what the indigenous here we call a luna. Mhm.
Mhm.
Great spirit, see.
Yeah. So coming back to my question again, so you come from that and all the way down. Now we're living on this planet, right? And when
Mhm.
you connect into the planet, you're feeling like you're the daughter of this planet. You have that really great, really intimate connection to the planet's spirit.
Yes,
So
I'm her
that's
custodian. I'm her
Mm.
custodian.
Okay. But you don't feel like you're a direct child of the earth, because the earth does have, according to ancient history, does have children of her own.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
So
There is
that was
an
my
elder.
question.
Yes, yes, there is one elder in our community that is. But as far as I know, no, she does feel like a mother at this point now. But it's not the very beginning
But
for me.
not a direct mother,
Mhm.
in the sense of how you're saying that elder in the community is a direct child of hers, right? So what you're saying?
Yes, correct. Mhm. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But the motherhood is so immense. I said so. Once you start connecting with the motherhood energy for support and grounding, oh, it's immense.
So she's
We
like
have
more
so
of
many mothers.
she's like more like a surrogate mother to you,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes,
Cool.
yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
What other things did you guys do? You were saying a whole lot of stuff in the beginning, and I went straight to the earth, and I forgot all the rest that you said. I'm sure we have questions about those things too.
Well, what things do we do? Well, we do a lot of singing, rattling, weaving. A lot of us are weavers, so we weave a lot during this time. Basket making,
Mhm.
growing vegetables, herbs, cooking, cleaning dishes, sweeping.
So that's like your downtime, and you do all that.
Yes, but you can go for walks. It's so beautiful where we're at, and it's something like 75 acres. It's
Mhm.
immense. It's so big, and lots of reciprocity. Lots of reciprocity. It's just so. Once you're there with the angel fire, it's becomes so clear that the more reciprocity you do, it's like the more you get, and you get. The more thread you get, and you can weave more.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But it was a mix, eh? It was male and female, right? It wasn't just women.
Yes, it's male and female. The male there is an element of power in Colombia called poporo, It looks like a gourd with a stick sticking out of it, and there is ground seashells inside. And the men run the poporo, which is something like, just imagine if this was a gourd and this is a stick, so they go like that. And then they chew coca leaves, and that's how they stay in alignment. And the woman, most of us use the weaving to stay connected. And more really, it's the co-creation and the intention. So much of what is happening in that moment when you're weaving and making the thread too, because we collect the yarn and all of that.
So when you guys are there doing the ceremony and all that, do you do like clearing on the grid lines of the earth, specifically like South American continent? Because there's not much being said about South American continent, but I perceive that there's a lot going on with the indigenous people on the continent itself. But we don't hear about South America a whole lot in the Western world here, in North America and elsewhere.
Yes, some people have specific agreements with the grid work that are there for that specific purpose, and others are there for, there are all kinds of clearing. Some people are working with very much in this lifetime relationships with their mother, father. There's all kinds of things. There's people working with other areas, other spaces outside of this galaxy, things that happen in other dimensions. There's so many things. It's just vast, so vast. But as a spirit, it's all right here, right now. And with the angel of fire, you can clear. Just what's needed is just right here, right now. I've also been with people who don't remember as much as others, or don't have that many dreams or visions. But if you work with that sensation, if you work with that alive, what's alive in you in the moment, you clear. And it's not even that important for you to know the whole story.
That's interesting, actually, because that seems how the clearing, the healing is going nowadays, you know, the just letting go, no longer being attached to anything. It's more in the being in the now, being in the acknowledgement of it. Just say, this is happening right now, and that's it, you know?
Yeah, I've experienced as I deliver my reciprocity and I exhale my breath into the fire. At first, it was almost like little pieces that I was dropping, and with time, it feels like packages, entire packages of information being delivered.
So, Caro, I have another question. So let's just say, like how Jen does fires, where she's at regularly, and in the more like in the spring, summertime, I could do fires here because then all the snow's gone. If we want to communicate and clear things out of ourselves using the fire element, what would be some simple ways for us to start to do that? How would you
So the way
my question.
So the way we do it with the elders here, the first most important thing is to write an intent, a pure intent of what is it that you want to clear. And then you charge that intent. So in the morning and the evening, prior to going to the fire, prior to gathering the wood, you charge that intent. So you have crystal clear intention into what is it that you're going to do. Intent is so important. Because if you go there without an intent, the fire supports you, but it's not you just go all over the place. You have pure intent and spirit. So you charge your intent, and as you're working with it, once you get to the fire, and then the community supports, brings the wood, there's chanting happening, there's smoke, and then we give reciprocity of sage that we grow there. And then there's just baskets and baskets of sage being thrown into the fire. Lots of sage, to give thanks. And then that's when you start, after that, the smell of the sage, you start feeling oh, I'm ready now. I'm ready to, as a spirit, to connect spirit to spirit. Because really, I mean, think about it. The angel of fire doesn't want to connect with a buffoon, a clown. It's not going to have anything to do with it. It wants to connect with you spirit to spirit. So
Yeah.
it can happen very quickly for you, or maybe it could take a little bit longer. It's okay if it does. Well, you stand there when you're ready, spirit to spirit.
So when you're saying put a lot of sage in the fire, is this fresh sage that you just get off the plant, or is it dry sage?
Dry sage.
Dry. So it has to be
Dry
dried in order, because then that will burn better.
yeah, dry sage.
So
And
so
then
you're saying write your intent down on a piece of paper.
charge it
Charge it with repetition, right?
with repetition. You can
Yeah.
use your crystals. You can use all the elements of power you have around you.
Yeah.
And I charged with the sun, directly looking at the sun, feeling deeply grounded in Gaia. And I charge it morning and evening. As I charge, I continue getting a more and more clarity, more and more about what is it that I'm ready to just be done with. And then
And so
deliver.
now, yeah. So now you get
go for the kill.
so now you charge that up, right? And you're in front of the fire now. Okay, so let's just say that you're up to that point. You lit your fire and it's burning. You got your sage and everything thrown in there. What do you do with your paper when you're in front of the fire? What's your next step? How do you go about that?
I put my paper right here. I leave it right here.
Okay.
Throughout the entire time. And then at the end of the 5 weeks, as my last act of reciprocity, I surrender the paper. Done.
Into the fire?
Into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you only have one intention for the whole 5 weeks.
Well, there's one intention energy wise, but as you connect with the fire, there's going to be lots of things that are going to come up. So for that, you have your notebook. So you're writing.
Oh, okay.
Because you're going to get so much clarity, so much insight. So much.
So do you say anything to the fire before you,
yes,
once you're in front of the fire?
Yeah, I have, can I read to you what I've been saying? Just give me 1 second and I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
So this is what I read to the fire. Oh, I have several. They're short. I approach the sacred element of fire to do clearings. I am clearing to be closer and closer to you, Divine Mother, Aluna, and to eliminate the factors that separate me from you, that separate me from the agreements that I have accepted with you. I reclaim the integrity of my spirit. I reclaim the power of my spirit. I reclaim the reason of being on this plane. I reclaim my sense of purpose, pure purpose in spirit. I reclaim my right to be conscious. I reclaim my right to be free from deception. I am coming to clear to you, and I'm coming to clear my way back to you. Glorious Mother and glorious Father. Aho!
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Powerful. Yeah, me too.
Reclamation.
I do the same kind of process in my fire ceremonies. I usually will read like contract revocations or an invocation to the wood before I light it. But yours is absolutely beautiful. And then I'll write down my intention. I'll usually start it with like expressing gratitude to the fire. And once the flames really get going, I give like an offering. So I have Palo Santo shavings. I have some resins, like they smell good, right? So I'll make homemade smudge sticks with sage and lavender and rosemary from my garden. So I'll offer something like that, and then I'll give whatever I wrote down as my intention. I'll give that to the fire. So I do a similar overall process. I've never been able to do one for 5 weeks. That must be amazing the way that elevates the energy. But now I feel like sometimes if I can't do like a big fire outside, I'll still do one like in like a little cast iron cauldron, because it's small enough to be able to do without any other charge. So, you know, we've been doing some 30-day challenges on reading certain revocations. Now I'm wondering about doing like a 5-week challenge for doing like a fire ceremony every day, even if it's something small.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
also you all have an Earth Nouveau wing in Cali, Colombia, so you're welcome to come to clearings if you want to. I will let you know ahead of time when we're gathering.
Yeah.
Can you come for part of the time instead of having
Yeah, you
to do
can.
this?
She's trying to get
Minimum,
out.
yeah, minimum 9 days. 9 days is the bare minimum. Otherwise, it's just too much, and you come out of there, you're like, why do you want to do that? But 9 days is a good time for you to feel the connection.
Mm.
Mhm. I got more. Can I read more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, this is I as a spirit. I as a spirit. I as a being. I as a millennial conscious being. I am here clearing my way in wisdom, alliance, and sacred agreement. I as a spirit. I am fulfilling, correcting, and vindicating myself. I as a spirit. I am clearing my own afflictions and my own deviations so I can master the experience in consciousness, and I can be able to gravitate with the masters, the ones who have achieved level of mastery and harmony, to be able to be close to our heavenly ones. I as a spirit, I am on a mission to master the experiences of this life, to achieve higher and higher levels of consciousness. I as a spirit, I am reconciling myself with the mother through obedience, through intelligent functioning and intelligent discernment. I am fulfilling what I'm here to do. I as a spirit relinquish all that is undignifying, relinquish and detach from all that is deviating and obscure. I as a spirit relinquish any affiliation or any connection with dark power that deviates the real reason of my soul. I as a spirit relinquish betrayal for the sake of power that is twisted and dark. I as a spirit relinquish disobedience. I as a spirit relinquish twisted rebellion. I as a spirit fully release myself from the attraction to deception and the easy way with dark empowerment. I as a spirit, I am here to empower myself, to master the experience in consciousness. I as a spirit, I am here in this very life to master the original wisdom of the mother. I as a spirit, I am here fully committed, fully involved to fulfill my agreement and not be deviated by my own distortions and old inclinations and tendencies. I as a spirit, I am here to return to the mother, clean and clear. I as a spirit, I am here to show the mother that I love her. I as a spirit, I am here to reprioritize my needs. I as a spirit, I am here to reprioritize the right order of things. My first priority is the mother. My second priority is to serve the mother. My third priority is to consciously fulfill my agreement. My fourth priority is to serve others by serving the mother. And my fifth priority is to protect myself at all costs from evil and deception. I, as a spirit, I am here to master the experience in consciousness. I, Carolina Cuervo Grajales, as a spirit. Y así es.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Aho.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing energy, huh? It's so beautiful.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
awesome.
What a gift you are coming on and sharing that amazing smile and that energy. Huh? It's just beautiful.
Yes.
Gracias.
Beautiful.
I can see your spirit,
Mhm.
your energy just blooming, like
Mm.
really bright,
Uh-huh.
and the light is so bright, you know, like the sun.
Yes.
You're just blazing away.
She's pregnant with spirit.
Yes.
Spirit, yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. Oh,
Amazing.
wow. Oh,
Yeah. You'll have to share that with us.
Yes, I would love to. I
love to,
can,
yeah.
yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I would love to share that with you, and I would love to be in the communion with the sacred fire at some point.
mhm.
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 Make
Well, when I
plans.
light my fire in the future here,
Yes.
I'll think of Carol. I'll think of, I'll read those same things to the fire when I
Mhm.
do my little ceremony. And thanks for teaching us how to approach the fire now with a good intent, and to do the intent, you know, weeks before or days before we get to the fire.
Mm. We
Yeah.
could
like
put our
that.
we could put our future fire there now in Bogota.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the lovely thing about simultaneous living, isn't it? We can just connect to it and be right there with you when you did your thing.
Mm.
When did you come back?
I came back December 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been good maintaining that level of light. It's already the end of January, and it wasn't an easy January either, you know.
Mm.
Amazing, amazing, well done.
Oh,
how-
you were,
Go.
oh no, no, I was just gonna say you were there for the new moon.
I
For the
was there
new
for.
the Chinese New Year, the new
Ah,
moon.
yes, I was there for. I'm
Yeah.
not so connected with the Chinese, but the
I'm not
new
either,
moon,
but
no, but I
I
was
knew it was
okay. Good.
I knew it was the new moon that happened on the 21st. It was supposed to be very a magical time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
well, that's over a month already that you've been back. So how has your immediate environment changed? Can you already say that some people not calling and some others do, and that kind of thing?
Yes, but that has been happening. It has been happening for a while. What I feel now, it's the stronger boundaries within myself to not just be done with it quickly, and it's just not as irritable, not as irritable as it used to be. It's just easier to turn the page. Yes, and being with the new space, I don't want to call it loneliness, but it does, as we progress, I feel closer to the Earth Nouveau than some of the people that I have known for years. So being with myself and taking myself out for walks and enjoying talking to people I don't know, and being okay with that.
Yeah.
The new friendship.
Yeah, that's a very big tip, for people, and also a confirmation that when you do that kind of journey, when you really commit to that level of clearing and everything, this is that separation of density that we keep talking about, isn't it? But as you say, there's no aloneness anymore. You probably feel more alone when you're with people that you can't connect.
Yes, and I just cannot stand it anymore. It's just my body. It's just, I gotta escape. I find me a window.
So how have your dreams changed? How has your dream time changed? Do you see a difference there, big time, or not?
Well, yes, I do see a difference. So before I answer that, I do want to say that after clearing, every time I've cleared for 5 or more weeks, after you come back, so whatever was feeding from you is pissed, and it's trying to strike back in a different way, so the first weeks, you expect that it's gonna beginners feel like, well, but I just cleared and it just got worse, but it really didn't get worse. It's just they changed their tactics. So my first 5 weeks were a lot of like clearing my space, clearing my area. So I would be able to discern whether I was getting insight or I was trying to get pulled and deviated again. And in my dream time, well, well, just a lot of more with my galactic family. After clearings, definitely, yeah. Being able to be in more in that space with my galactic family. It's just so precious to me. Hi,
Hi, Sean.
someone's here. Hi, Sean.
Hi ho, hi there. And hey Jen,
Good.
and everybody.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah.
You missed the first hour, but Carolina has kindly guided us through her experience, you know, doing a 5-week fire ceremony with the fire angel in Bogota. So quite, so we're all a bit stunned and just like, oh, yes, let's take in that energy of her feminine energy that's coming out, that mother energy, right? We're all being like, ah. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm good. I'm taking it easy today. I watched a movie this morning. That's how my day is today.
Fabulous.
I'm gonna go to the comedy club later. So I just kind of taking it slow today.
Fantastic.
So,
So,
Carol, I have another
yes.
question to Carol.
Mhm.
When you guys are doing the ceremony and things like that there, the indigenous people, I want to ask a question about the Amazon, the rainforest itself. And I know that's really close to the heart of the people in South America there. Are they doing ceremony to protect the rainforest in any way whatsoever?
Yes.
And can you share any of the information about that?
Yes, I have been working in ceremony for many years for the protection not just of the rainforest, the lungs of the world, but all of Colombia, all of my birthplace. From the tip that borders with Venezuela to the other frontier that borders with Panama, to Ecuador, Brazil. Lots of work to connect with the land here. Yeah, and the
So-
elders that teach me have been doing this for a longer time than my
Yeah.
own biological family has.
So when they're working to help the rainforest, to maintain the rainforest, what kind of I don't even know how to explain myself.
I
What
understand
kind
what
of practice they're doing in order to reclaim the protection of the forest?
Mhm.
See you-
Well,
what I'm trying to say?
I see, I connect with what you're saying. So what I can share with you what I have done and what I have seen. So for example, a
Okay.
big problem that was at my birthplace was that there was an overpopulation of hippos,
Yeah.
because they were brought from some where they're native, they were brought here, and being this such a luscious place, they started reproducing like crazy. And it was causing a lot of havoc with the people, being scared by them, the land, the crops, everything anyway. So so as I connected with the spirit of the hippo, I recognized that the animal itself, it was also out of place.
Right.
And connecting with the angel of fire, what I picked up with was that I needed to connect with the mother of hippos, and ask the mother of hippos what needed to be done with their children.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that easy. I had to find help. So I've through one of my elders, they connected with somebody who was in Africa, and then we did simultaneous work with the angel of fire in order to get communication from the mother of hippos to see how she wanted her children organized. And I have seen a lot of more ease in the way that the animals are around and behaving.
So what was the resolution that you guys eventually came to with the children of the hippos?
Well, we gathered some people that had were inspired to work with the hippos and found out that they had records with hippos, so it worked out well because then they paid reciprocity to balance and harmonize their story with the hippos.
Uh-huh.
So that brought some resolution, and then ease to the hippopotamus so far. That has been what we have done. It's been years. And then, and, you know, now that I tell the story, you know, I'm like, wow, it's been a lot of time, and you know, but it has brought balance and harmony.
That is such a neat story, because they're not indigenous to the South American continent. They're indigenous to the African continent. And
yes, a drug lord brought them here because he had so much money and nothing to do, and then he was done with it, bored with them, and then he just let them wild, and they started reproducing.
Right. Well, if they ever kill off all the hippopotamus in Africa, you know, for whatever reason, South America will have plenty to replenish.
Do you know, this is a fascinating story for anyone, if you think about it. You know, so many people are worried that artificial intelligence is going to take their jobs away, and humans will have nothing to do after the robots taking over, you know, to bake the bread. Sorry, Lana, but no, to do all the things that, you know, we usually do, because we actually have forgotten that kind of work that we're actually here for, right? I mean, hearing these stories is just such a lovely reminder that humans are supposed to be doing that kind of work, to really tuning into the animals, into the elements, into, you know, the minerals, and working together and making this a possibility. And you say you've been doing this for years. I'm finding that fascinating.
Yeah, so much reconciliation has occurred from the people who were drawn to the hippos and didn't know that they had negative accounts and balances with the hippos. We were surprised, and so much resolution for the spirit of the animals as well, for the land. Yeah, for everything that has needed to accommodate the species that is confused here. Reconciliation.
Do they bring when you come to reconciliation of different issues, do they bring them into a spiritual court of equity?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Sí.
So everything gets resolved in the spiritual court of equity in the end, yes?
Yes, yes. And the indigenous Kogi also use the word equity in Kogi. When I heard all of you talk about spiritual court of equity, I thought, oh, this is so neat. Like, they also use that word, equity. Yeah, use it. Man, call it in.
So we got a head start here, right? To the spiritual court of equity when we do our revocations. So interesting. Wow.
So can you see yourself carry on along the line of that work with Gaia, working with the animals, working with nature and that kind of thing?
Yes, yes. And more women and men who are whose agreement is with me and are sleeping, they're lazy, they're not, I see them, I know who they are. So coming around and be like, hey, you know, you can join, you know, you remember? Tap on the shoulder, hey,
Good.
what's up? Come on.
Fabulous.
Have they have you guys discovered any new or ancient species that was not around that is coming back into the reality
Yes.
in South America?
Yes, many. The one that came to me immediately after you said this is a form of you know, in northern Nessie.
Yes.
Where is Nessie from? Okay, it's something like it's like a cousin of Nessie. That lives in an area of Mexico that has portals connecting to Colombia. and the traditional culture and the folklore, there's songs and there's stories about people who have seen them, and people generally they just laugh, right? But it's true, they this nesty like being shows up, so yeah, they're there, and they're very loving and benevolent. They are a little bit like manatees in their energy.
Any other kind of land species that may have returned from the ancient past?
Yes, different types of hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Different types of hummingbirds, many birds. I'm mostly connecting with birds these days, with long tails that look like dragon-like or lizard-like.
Wow.
Yeah, so much work to do to connect with them with a pure heart, to ask their names, to listen to the stories. Why were they in hiding? What did we do that they had to go hiding for so long?
Yeah.
And learn their ways, because sometimes their ways are different from my ways. So because of the difference, then I might be a little bit like, I don't want to connect with this, but open up and soften and see a different way. So much to connect with.
So the Amazon is flourishing with new species then, or ancient species returning to their homeland.
Yeah,
right?
I will say all of South America, America. And the awakening here is so powerful. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's so powerful. Colombia, Argentina is very, Chile, Ecuador is, yeah, lots of Zoom meetings and people speaking in Spanish and indigenous languages.
Yeah.
But it's alive and kicking here. It's very, yeah.
So the whole place has come alive again.
Yes.
The whole of South America.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. Colombia has strong heart energy. So here, what you're seeing these days is the extreme, the polarity from and the heart chakra. That's what you see here. So for those who have eyes to see, you can see the new, the novelty. But those who are stuck in the old energies, then you see all chaos and all of that.
Yeah.
With the drugs and the trafficking and all of that.
Talking about
it's happening
the drugs,
simultaneously.
Talking about the drugs, is there resolution with the drug lords coming out of that area?
The drug lords are the government.
No, but there've always been a lot of different factions of drug lords coming out of South America, right?
Yes,
That's the question. Is there a resolution that the indigenous shamans are working with these guys to come to some sort of ancient resolution,
Yes, there's a lot of work being done with that, but we still have a long way to go in that regard. For the 5 weeks of clearing, what happened was that some people came to clear and they had forgotten that at some point they had used cocaine. And the angel of fire will not take anything before they clear their cocaine use.
Oh,
that
wow.
was really interesting this time around.
She kicked them out.
Yeah, tell me about your records with the sacred plant of coca.
She's saying, go clear your shit and then come back.
Yes. And you like, why were you putting it up your nose? Supposed to be chewed.
Wrong hole. Fascinating. So it's, in other words, the drug lords, they don't want to give up, right? Because if they don't want to come to some resolution, it means that they're holding on strongly to what they want to keep the darkness here.
Yeah, that's still very much a thing. Yeah, with the land and yeah.
But you know what I'm thinking is that if the like how you guys are working so many weeks at a time, that would bring the light of the planet up. And since all these new species are returning to the continent, right? That would also help to brighten the light of the continent itself. And once that light is so much brighter, then the darkness of these guys will kind of not be able to hold on to the power that they have, because the
Yes,
light will overpower them.
yes. And also another thing that I see is that they're kind of like killing themselves off between them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Fighting amongst themselves.
They're kind of like destructing their own crew. This is happening in the last 10 years.
They're bringing their light down instead of maintaining the plateau of where they're at in their light.
Mhm.
They're in, empowering darkness, but eventually the continent's light itself will overpower and overshadow them, and so they will not, I mean, they'll try to feed off of the light, but they'll still be overpowered, right? You think?
It could be. I ask myself these things often too, how it's going to play out. Yeah.
So I've got another question here, since this is one of our SOS shows, but you were saying early on, with a committed clearing session like that, there is limiting beliefs and associations that are coming through that you haven't considered before. So the very, very deep psyche sort of conditioning. Would you be able to give us a couple of those ideas that, some people could look and say, oh, I didn't think about that either. That's so out of my comfort zone. Or so cemented in that I've never even considered that a possibility from a very belief system.
In terms of clearings, I've seen so much. I'm just gonna say what does in the 5 weeks. A dear sister of mine realized that she had a very negative role in the Moria, and this is somebody who has been working for Gaia and in alignment for years, and that shattered her. She was, she cried for 5-6 days. So it's shocking. It's shocking what comes up, when she was ready. She wasn't ready before. She had to bring all of this seva and all of this, goodness into her, and gather all of this momentum and clear all the little things or minor things, and to really tackle what she did in Lemuria.
So very old entanglements from other lifetimes that can shock people. Yeah.
Yes. Another one that I'm seeing that is more and more common is the distortions in the feminine and masculine energy due to break in another galaxy. In another galaxy, there was a complete break of the feminine and the masculine energy, the complete destruction, and that causes deep resentment in spirit, deep affliction. And it's distortions that carry on life after life after life after life. Well, more and more people are meeting that have memories of complete breakage.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, to start really adding other dimensions, timelines, galaxies, and universes, even solar systems. I suppose we could add there too, when we do the clearings, really start expanding out, and not just clear what, my mom hit me when I was 5 or something, that kind of thing. That's a very good point. Thank you for that. Yeah. Anyone else who has any ideas along those lines that's coming up, maybe with your clients or yourself, or just in one of your contemplations? That's definitely something to add, because you see, the whole thing is, it's not, we talk about the dark night of the soul, it's not just our dark night of the soul that's being played out. It's a collective one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it brings to mind, like, like we were doing on Saturday, right? It's not just the Sean, it's all the Seans. If you're bringing in all of yourselves, past, present, and future, you can create resolve in that moment for everything that you've done in the past, because we're not cognizant necessarily of every one of those events. But if we bring that energy to bring all of those lifetimes into the now, to get remedy and resolve now for all of that, that's a way that we can access it, so that we can do that clearing, even if we don't know the specific details behind what needs to be cleared.
Absolutely. And a lovely way of doing that is sometimes, you know, if you think of an event, if you think of something that a situation that created a certain experience, you don't necessarily need to clear the experience. You just unhook, look where the emotion is hooked at to, and then unhook the emotion from the event, from the experience. Like in the case of your Lemurian friend, you know, appreciate the event and also get the learning from this whole event. There was a purpose of her doing whatever she was doing, isn't it? This is the soul's journey. You can't see it in isolation. You have to see the entire agenda that is playing out. But then just unhook that emotion, and that sometimes is just enough. Even if you say, like, before you go to bed, today I'm just going to unhook all the emotions that are still influencing me from all the events in this lifetime dimension, other, you know, galaxies, universes, solar systems, and just let all of those go, right?
Yeah, the disentanglement from the emotions, like, you don't, it's an entrapment to get caught up in shame and guilt now for something that you become aware of that you did before, right? So disconnecting from the emotion of that, because you don't want to carry the shame and the blame and the guilt for it now, for something that you're not even aware that you have done.
And I also like, Carolina, what you mentioned early on. You said in your dream time in particular, you are now connecting with your soul family much more, with your galactic inheritance, and you know, and that is so beautiful as well, because as we are clearing our emotional bodies here, we are being able to connect more on the astral plane, and
Yes.
we're not putting ourselves at risk by going in blind without having an idea what's going on, right?
Yes, it used to be when I had intents of being in union with my galactic family, I will come up with all kinds of questions I will ask them, and you know, I wanted guidance. And these days, what I find is that I just want to hang out with them. Really, it's just so sweet to hang out with them.
That's beautiful. That's, you know, remember
Yeah.
Amy always saying, just say hi, have a chat, you know? Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
really stuck in with me recently from that Merfolk show was just like the human-centric consciousness, like the domination of human-centric consciousness, that it's human, like we have this perception that humans is the epitome of consciousness, evolution, where it's like, if we expand that process through time, you know, it's like the cats could have been the humans, or the rats, or the cellular structures, or the mineral kingdom, or the hippos. Like each one of those, given the proper expression, could have became the dominant human consciousness and have expression to be sentient beings that are walking and talking and doing all sorts of stuff. So it's like bringing that back into a proper expression, that if all those were nurtured and not just whacked, so that we were the only dominant expression of consciousness on Earth, how wondrous, or how those different species or expressions of our united species would still be here. And we'll just manifest itself back.
And are we really the dominant expression of consciousness, or is that just the only one that we know because we're the humans?
That's
You
like
know?
just our indoctrinated perception to just keep us in this state of limitation. Because like can you guys imagine like walking, talking hippos earlier?
Yeah.
Like give them our
I know.
expression.
I
They
love
do
it.
it in the storybooks all the time, Sean.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where we're heading, right? Harmonious living between all species kind. And this is what the planet is getting ready for. To
And
have
just at those junctions of evolution, if we can just go back to the very original point of manipulations and just allow everything to express equally at that same time. So then we literally have sentient beings of all races and sources who become their own apex expression that we get to interact with. And not just like the animals, like lizards and birds and dogs and cats and hippos, but also like color frequencies and mineral frequencies, and including in the future or past, the artificial intelligence that's going to join the fold as well. So it's incorporating all these sentient sources to be part of our unanimous equal perception of everything.
Mm. And that's the universal language right there.
That's what I want, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I
that's-
want all these to be part of Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we can, they do speak to us in their language. We just can't hear it sometimes.
like when I say, hey, we're gonna go fishing in Beaverton, I want to go to a fucking town of beavers,
Yes.
you know, with their little lumberjacks, with their like plaid shirts on and hard hats.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll build you a nice fishing shack. Here you go.
Mm.
it's all possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just ditching the fraud time and ditching the limited human-centered consciousness.
Just ditching everything we've ever learned. Let it all go.
Yeah, all that crap.
Mhm.
Structure, linearity, knowledge, and see what sticks, what stays, what remains.
I
I
bet
think
Carolina, you were in no time. You were in no time when you were there for 5 weeks. I bet time didn't even exist.
It did not exist.
No.
No.
And she didn't die.
Yeah, she didn't die.
And I died many times.
And she died. And she died many times. And she's still
Oh,
alive. Oh my God.
oh my God.
I like it. Yes, you did die
Yes.
many times, didn't you?
Hey, I can't do that.
I love
I-
that.
Wow. That's great.
that is the proof of how do you know your spirit? She
Yeah.
is spirit. She couldn't die, even though she thought she died. I was just thinking that if we have an AI universal translator, right, with all the different species, we can easily solve this problem, very quickly, because then we'll be able to communicate directly with the species, like, what karma do I have with you? How do we work it out, right? So we go directly to the species and work out the problem immediately with them through a universal translator. Because then we can understand the language they're speaking and they can understand us, right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Aho, sister, that's what I want for the earth. Yes.
Yeah.
They have it in Star Trek. I don't see why we can't have it here.
Yeah.
Emma never learned German because I never taught her the language. My dad doesn't speak any English at all. And they had the best conversations. They had such good conversations. And sometimes they didn't say anything. They were cooking together and he showed her to make pretzels, and it was just the most harmonious conversation they've ever had. And when people gave me shit because I was such a rotten mother, not to teach my daughter the language, and when I looked at them, I thought, fuck you guys. This is the best thing ever. The best thing ever. And I'm obviously not saying everybody should do that, but that was a big, we don't need the words. They do help.
Yeah.
They really-
That's so beautiful, Martina, because I just saw the picture of, if you would have taught her German, she would have never have experienced what she experienced with your father. with her grandfather. So the people that know the German and can speak with him in your family, they will never experience that with her that same way. That was beautiful.
And I think it was a big gift to my dad, because my dad doesn't do certain things, finds it very difficult to open up, and stuff like that. And to watch him have that connection with her, it was a gift to him.
Mhm.
I think she gave him that gift.
Yeah.
That's really, really, but I think we need to really remember that now for ourselves, for the interspecies connection, and communication. Like you said, Carolina, I mean, there's so many different species coming through now, and they all speak different languages. And all we need to do sometimes is just look at them, look them in the eyes, right? And let our eyes speak, do the talking. Shut your mouth and let your eyes do the talking, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys, for the what I've done mostly in my life for as a job, I started translating, interpreting, and teaching language when I was around 18. And for the longest time, I thought, what is this for? What is this for?
Good point.
Oh, now I know what it's for.
Wow.
What word?
To connect with Gaia and all of her children, everything living inside her.
I was thinking of a different word.
Oh, what were you thinking?
I can't say it on here. Oh my God,
Ah.
from YouTube. Let's keep it clean.
Mm.
That's total classic skill collecting. It's so funny. Just like you never know what's happening, but you're just out there collecting those skills for the future purpose.
Mhm.
Collecting moments, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna one day we're gonna do a Zoom where we're not talking at all for 2 hours, just looking at each other and see who's gonna deal with this scum. I wonder who's gonna watch it.
It will not be an audio video, it will be a watched video.
Funny. Well, there's so many things to be explored, honestly. So have you guys got some more questions, since we've got Carolina with us here, for her, or anyone else? Any other questions? Any other SOS that you want to send out to anyone? Or just send out the invitation for anyone to send us the SOS, want to come onto our show? Maybe be facilitated, or maybe just have a chat to just share like Carolina did today.
Yeah.
Ask a question, send us a question.
I'd like to say thank you for sharing that with us. That was beautiful.
That was.
Sí, con gusto.
Con gusto, huh? I like it.
Caroline, is there anything else that we missed out on that you probably thought was a good idea to share with us that we didn't ask you about?
No,
Since you
I
had
feel
the experience.
yeah, no, I feel very complete. Yeah.
So we didn't miss any questions then.
There's
No.
always more questions, hey?
Yeah.
Always more questions. I'm sure if there are any more questions that are coming up for us, or for anyone who watches this, then we can always elaborate on that, and then maybe you'll be coming on again.
I would love to.
We hope to see you more often. We missed you.
Oh, gracias.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be joining. I will be joining. This was a wonderful way to reconnect. I saw SOS. I thought, see.
Save our ship, save the Earth ship. Well, as we said in the beginning, the Earth does not need saving, right? That's exactly what Gaia told you as well. She's doing this. That's a done deal. She's already done it. We're only catching up. And the invitation for us is to stay on it, stay on the ship. Don't get off just yet, even though that could be fun as well. And just, have some fun over the next couple of years, right?
I'm getting the message right now that Caro, that she's prompted you to be here today with us to share this information, so it could be recorded and be heard by not just us, but for you and your shamans there, but to be heard by anyone who is going to be listening to the video audio.
Así es.
She's been the instrument of this happening today.
Fabulous. And Carolina, if you want to give me the details in a direct message, then I'll pop them on when I put the recording out for the next meeting or something, maybe is there a website or something?
There's a website. Sí.
Yep. And we can maybe include the website for people to look up, and then always get in touch with you if they need any more details. Yeah. Are we
Sí.
good?
Sí.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias, huh? Thanks guys for coming on, and I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful to see you.
Bye, you too.
Adiós.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.